The silence in the room was heavy enough to crush a soul. 300 students, dressed in blazers that cost more than a car, sat in the polished oak pews of St. Jude's Academy. At the podium stood Headmaster Whitaker, a man whose face usually looked like it was carved from marble. But today, he looked alive with a cold, vicious satisfaction. Maya Collins, his voice boomed, echoing off the vaulted ceilings, approached the stage. Maya stood up in the third row. She was the only one there on a full academic scholarship. Her uniform was clean, ironed by her own hand that morning, but compared to the tailored wool of her peers, she looked like a ghost in the machine. She walked down the aisle, feeling the weight of 300 pairs of eyes on her. Some were curious. Most were dismissive. A few, like the group in the front row where the Hale family sat, were smirking. This institution, Whitaker began, his voice dripping with disdain, was built on pillars of integrity and honor. It is a sanctuary for the world's future leaders. It is not a charity for those who cannot meet our standards. He paused for effect. The camera clicks from parents' phones were audible. Maya Collins, you are hereby accused of academic fraud, theft of examination materials, and attempting to sabotage the academic record of a fellow student. A gasp rippled through the crowd, though it sounded rehearsed. In the front row, Victoria, Hale sitting in the VIP section, shook her head slowly, feigning disappointment. Beside her, her son Ethan stared at his shoes, his face pale but his posture relaxed. He was safe. The guilty were never punished here, only the weak were. I have here, Whitaker waved a sheet of paper, irrefutable evidence. You were seen leaving the faculty archives at 2:00 a.m. The missing exam papers were traced to your locker. That isn't true, Maya said. Her voice didn't shake. She knew the truth. She had been in the library, studying, and she had seen Ethan leaving the archives. She had seen the flash of his phone light in the dark. But when she had reported it to the deputy head the next morning, the story had been twisted. Silence. Whitaker slammed his hand on the podium. Your scholarship is revoked. You are expelled, effective immediately. You have 1 hour to vacate the premises. Security will escort you out. The shame was a physical blow. It was a chemical burn. It spread from her cheeks down to her chest. She looked at Ethan. He didn't look back. He was a thief. He was a cheat. But his mother had just donated a new wing to the science building. Maya's mother was a retired nurse living in a 2-bedroom apartment in London. Money talked. Truth walked. Maya turned and walked out of the assembly hall. She didn't cry. She had learned long ago that tears were just salt water to people like the Hales. But as a heavy oak door slammed shut behind her, sealing her fate, the injustice of it all settled in her stomach like lead. She walked to her dorm room in a daze. The whispers followed her in the hallways. I knew she couldn't hack it. Probably needed the money. Trash always takes itself out. She packed her single duffel bag, 2 uniforms, 3 books, a framed photo of her mother, and a small leather-bound journal. Inside that journal was her proof. The times, the dates, the license plate of the car. She saw Ethan meeting in the parking lot the tutor who sold him the answers. But who would believe her? The system was closed. The verdict was delivered. To understand how Maya Collins ended up here, you have to understand the world of St. Jude's. It wasn't just a school, it was a fortress for the one. If you were born into the right family, you could get away with murder. If you were Maya smart driven, but poor, you were tolerated only as long as you made the school look good on standardized tests. She had fought tooth and nail to get here. She studied 18 hours a day. She ignored the whispers about her shoes, her hair, her background. She just wanted to learn. She wanted to be a doctor. And then, 3 weeks ago, she had seen Ethan Hale in the restricted section of the library. He wasn't studying. He was photographing the upcoming final exams, the same exams that would determine their university placements. Maya had done the right thing. She had reported it. She thought the system worked. She thought merit mattered. She was wrong. Victoria Hale had descended on the school like a hawk. She didn't argue the facts, she argued the narrative. She painted Maya as a desperate scholarship girl, jealous of her son's success, willing to steal to level the playing field. Whitaker, terrified of losing Victoria's funding, chose her side. And now, Maya was standing at the school gates, her duffel bag over her shoulder, watching the Swiss Alps fade into gray twilight. It was freezing. Snow was starting to fall. She had no money for a taxi. She had no phone service in the mountains. She sat on her bag, pulling her coat tight. She felt defeated, not because she lost her spot, but because the world had confirmed her worst fear. Being right didn't matter if you were powerless. If you're enjoying the story of justice and reversal, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. We're just getting to the good part. Then, the sound of an engine cut through the wind. Not a bus, not a taxi, a deep, throaty roar. Two matte black SUVs rounded the bend, their tires crunching on the fresh snow. They moved with a purpose, a precision that looked almost military. They slowed as they approached the gate. Maya watched, confused. Was it a parent arriving late? A trustee? The lead car stopped directly in front of her. The door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall, wearing a charcoal overcoat that looked like it cost a year's tuition. He had salt and pepper hair and eyes that were currently scanning the perimeter, assessing security cameras, the gate mechanisms, the layout. It was Daniel Collins, her father, the man she hadn't spoken to in 5 years, the man who had sent checks she refused to cash, the man she had run away from because she wanted to prove she could survive without his shadow. "Get in the car, Maya," he said. His voice was calm, but there was a storm underneath it. Maya stared at him. "What are you doing here? Right now? I'm saving you from freezing to death. Get in. I don't want your help," she said, shivering violently. "I can handle this." Daniel looked at the gate, then back at his daughter. He saw the red rim around her eyes, the only sign she had been holding back tears. He softened. "I know you can handle anything, Maya. That's why you're the only person I trust with what happens next. But right now, you're sitting in the snow while the people who humiliated you are sipping champagne. Let's change that." Maya hesitated. Her pride screamed at her to walk away. But then she thought of Ethan's smirk. She thought of Whitaker's gavel. She thought of the lies. She stood up and got in the car. Inside, the heat was blasting. Daniel handed her a tablet. "Read this," he said. It was a news article from the Financial Times, dated 3 days ago. The headline read, "Collins Conglomerate Acquires Global Education Trust, including Swiss campus assets." Maya looked at him, shocked. You bought the company that owns the school?" Daniel tightened his gloves. "I didn't buy it for the schools. I bought it because the holding company had valuable tech patents. The schools came with a package. I didn't even know you were here until your mother called me an hour ago, crying, saying the school wasn't answering the phones." He looked at the clock on the dashboard. "She told me what they did. She told me they threw you out." "It doesn't matter," Maya whispered. "They already expelled me." Daniel turned to her. The temperature in the car seemed to drop despite the heater. "In the world I come from, Maya, a contract is only as good as a signature. Whitaker's signature. It's about to become worthless. The question is, do you want to walk away and let them win? Or do you want to go back in there and show them exactly who they mess with?" Maya looked at her father. For years, she had resented his power. She had resented the money. She had wanted to be normal. But normal didn't get justice. Normal got crushed. She pulled her journal out of her bag. "I have proof," she said. "I have the times, the dates, the patterns." Daniel smiled. It wasn't a warm smile. It was a smile of a shark smelling blood. "Good," he said. "Then let's go have a meeting with the headmaster." The convoy didn't stop at the visitor's gate. The SUVs plowed through the snow, driving straight up the cobblestone path to the main administrative building. Security guards ran out, waving their arms, shouting for them to stop. The lead car didn't slow down until it was blocking the main entrance. Daniel stepped out. A security guard, a burly man named Klaus, stepped in his way. "Sir, this is private property. You cannot park here." Daniel didn't blink. He simply handed the man a card. It was a black titanium key card. "I know it's private property, Klaus. It's my property. Now step aside." Klaus looked at the card, then at the car, then at the terrifyingly calm man in front of him. He stepped aside. Daniel walked to the front doors, Maya right behind him. They moved past the secretaries, past the panic-stricken deputy head. They walked straight toward the assembly hall. The assembly was still in session. The walk of shame for expelled students was a tradition at St. Judasa Way to remind the others of the consequences of failure. But Whitaker was just wrapping up his speech about purity of spirit. The heavy doors swung open with a bang that echoed like a gunshot. 300 heads turned. Whitaker froze at the podium. Daniel walked down the center aisle. He didn't hurry. He took his time, letting the silence stretch. He stopped right in front of the stage. Victoria Hale stood up from the VIP section. "Who is this?" she demanded, her voice shrill. "Security. This is an outrage." Daniel ignored her. He looked up at Whitaker. "Mr. Whitaker," Daniel said, "we need to discuss a termination of employment. Yours." Whitaker adjusted his glasses, his face turning red. "Sir, I don't know who you are, but you are interrupting a sacred ceremony. Leave immediately or I will call the police." "You can call them," Daniel said, "but you might want to call your lawyer first. Actually, on second thought, you won't need a lawyer for what's coming." He gestured to Maya. She stepped forward, into the light. "This is my daughter," Daniel said, his voice projected to the back of the room. "You expelled her 40 minutes ago. You accuse her of fraud." Whitaker scoffed. "She was caught red-handed. We have evidence." "Do you?" Maya asked. Her voice was clear, amplified by the acoustics of the hall. She held up her phone. "Because I have evidence, too." She connected her phone to the hall's sound system via Bluetooth. A recording began to play. It was the voice of Ethan Hale, recorded 2 days ago in the library stacks, when he thought he was alone. He was reciting the answers to the physics exam into his phone. "Okay, page 4, question 12. The answer is quantum entanglement." Then a second clip. This time, it was Victoria Hale. "Just make sure the scholarship girl takes the fall. Ethan, if anyone asks, you were helping her study." I've already spoken to Whitaker. He knows which side his bread is buttered on. The room went dead silent. The color drained from Ethan's face. Victoria gasped, clutching her pearls. Whitaker looked panicked. That is doctored. You can't prove." "I don't need to prove it to the students," Daniel interrupted. "I need to prove it to the board." He pulled a document from his coat and placed it on the edge of the stage. "This is the deed of transfer for St. Jude's Academy. Finalized this morning at 9:00 a.m. The Global Education Trust is now a subsidiary of the Collins Group. I am the majority shareholder. I am the owner of the school." The murmur started low and grew into a roar. The students weren't just watching a drama anymore. They were watching a coup. "Mr. Whitaker," Daniel said, his voice cold, "you are fired, effective immediately." Whitaker's jaw dropped. "You can't." The board answers to me," Daniel said. "And as for Mrs. Hale," he turned to the woman who had orchestrated Maya's destruction, "your donation for the science wing? Canceled. I've already instructed the bank to reverse the transaction due to breach of moral conduct clauses in the donor agreement. Your son's enrollment? Revoked. He will not be graduating. And as for the evidence you planted in Maya's locker, I have the security footage from the hallway showing your son breaking into it at 1:30 a.m. The real security footage, not the copy you erased." Victoria's face contorted. She looked around for support, but the other parents were shrinking away from her. Nobody wanted to be associated with a sinking ship. "This is absurd," Victoria shrieked. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes," Daniel said. "You're the woman who just lost her influence." He turned to Maya. "Maya, this is your school now. What do you want to do with it?" Maya looked at the stage. She looked at Whitaker, who looked like he had aged 10 years in 10 minutes. She looked at Ethan, who was now weeping silently. She looked at Victoria, humiliated, her armor of arrogance stripped away. Maya walked up the stairs to the podium. She stood where Whitaker had stood. She didn't gloat. She didn't mock. She just stood there, a scholarship girl in a hand-me-down uniform, commanding the room. "Integrity," Maya said, quoting Whitaker's earlier speech. "It's not just a word on a plaque. It's what you do when no one is watching. And when you think the people watching don't matter." She looked at the student body. "I'm not going to stay here," she said. The room gasped. Even Daniel looked surprised. "I'm transferring," Maya continued. "Not because I don't deserve to be here. but because I refuse to be educated by people who sold their souls to the highest bidder. But before I go, she looked at Whitaker. You will write a letter of recommendation to every university I applied to, admitting that I was a top student and that my expulsion was a malicious lie. She looked at Victoria. And you will fund a full scholarship for 10 students from underprivileged backgrounds every year for the next decade. That is the price of me not releasing this audio to press. Victoria looked ready to explode, but Daniel stepped forward. I think that's a reasonable settlement, don't you? Or would you prefer a lawsuit? Victoria nodded, defeated. Maya walked down the stairs. She didn't look back at the school she had fought so hard to stay in. She walked out the doors, her father beside her. As they got back into the car, the sun finally broke through the Swiss clouds, illuminating the snowy peaks. I'm proud of you, Daniel said quietly. You didn't take the easy revenge. Revenge is easy, Maya said, leaning her head back against the leather seat. Dignity is harder. She looked at her father. Thanks for the ride. Anytime, Daniel said, though I think you handled the hardest part yourself. As the car drove away, leaving the elite world of St. Jude's in the rearview mirror, Maya opened her journal to a fresh page. She didn't need their school. She had her truth back. And this time, she knew exactly who had her back.